So hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here today to present the IEA's Energy Statistics Roadmap. My name is Zakia. I work as a statistics manager and focuses on national data capacities. And today, with my colleague Scott, we will deliver this presentation and session. So, as you know, the IEA is involved in several impactful capacity building activities. We have established close cooperation with countries, and we have focal points with more than 100 countries to collect energy statistics by fuels and also to build the energy balances. And in addition to this data collection, we also work with countries on a bilateral level to help them improve their data quality and energy information system. So we are involved in several capacity development activities, such as in-person, national, and regional trainings, workshops, webinars, as well with other organizations. We have done several joint workshops with AFREC, APEC, the UNFCCC at the regional and national level. We are also involved in the publication of data. We produce country profiles and also commentaries. We also develop tools such as training materials, videos, and also the guidebook that I will present today. So first, why do we need to have robust national energy information system? It is important for us to understand that we need to strengthen national energy information system because we need to have a robust system that supports a comprehensive energy data system that is based on international guidelines. Also, a robust system will help policymakers in shaping policies and make informed decisions that are based on robust and accurate data. The system can also help in tracking national targets, NDCs, and also the data that are input in models in scenarios, etc. As you can see in this figure, there are three main data categories that are needed to develop energy balances. We need energy supply, energy demand, and economic activity data. Also, national targets and commitments should be informed by relevant and up-to-date data. And we also need a data-driven policy cycle where relevant statistics and indicators are integrated in the whole process from the design to the monitoring and evaluation purposes. Also, the responsibility of collecting and disseminating data is often distributed across several national stakeholders, but often stakeholders may not have the full visibility on existing issues of the national energy data system. And this can lead to delays in active cooperation. So it is important to include energy data experts in the policy cycle from the initial stages so that stakeholders can design a transparent and well-defined tracking methodology. So now let's dig into the IEA Energy Statistics Roadmap. So as I was saying, to have robust energy balances, we need to have good planning and a strategic approach, but also we need an enabling governance framework. We need resources, infrastructure, skills, effective data management, and dissemination. This is why the IEA has developed this guidebook to support countries in the development of national roadmaps to strengthen their energy data capacities. Also, this guidebook, it describes the key components of energy data systems, and it provides recommendations on how to strengthen them. Currently, the guidebook is available in English, Spanish, French, Arabic, and Russian, and it is freely available on the IEA website. You have the link here. So how did we design and develop this guidebook? This guidebook, it draws on the quality frameworks developed for general cross-sectoral statistics, on worldwide best practices for strengthening energy statistics, and also on our own IEA's experience with international collaboration. This guide has been developed with countries for countries. Since 2022, we have been conducting consultations with national data providers across many countries, as well as with experts from international organizations, so that we can identify best practices that have been adopted to design the strategy for energy data collection. Also, accompanying this guidebook, we have a Microsoft Excel-based self-assessment tool that is available also on the website for users to easily apply the roadmap steps to their national context by answering the questions that we have presented in the guide. This guide, it offers a comprehensive assessment framework for the national institution to use in assessing existing national energy information system. And by applying such a framework to a specific country, it will be possible to understand what the strengths are, what are the weaknesses, and also where to prioritize action. And through this guidebook, the IEA is aiming at assisting countries in the continued development of their national energy information system, regardless of their maturity level. And this guidebook can be used as a tool to facilitate the development of strategic action plans and resource allocation. So this guidebook also have 3 key enablers that we have identified as the main prerequisites for supporting and driving improvement in national energy statistics system. The basic pillar for the development of energy statistics at national level is the acknowledgement of the importance of the energy information. Also, for the development of energy statistics at national level, it is important to have qualified staffs who understand the methodological particularities of energy statistics. Also, institutional collaboration, whether it is formal or informal, it should be fostered at a high level to encourage deeper engagement and accountability among stakeholders, and also to improve the efficiency of statistical systems. This is how the IEA framework looks like. It is structured in 3 key pillars: plan, setup, and track, which in turn unfolds into 3 elements each. So in total, we have 9 elements. The strategic dimension plan, it includes data needs and uses, strategy development, and funding mechanism. The data processing dimension track includes data the operational dimension setup. It includes legal framework, institutional arrangement, and human, technical, and financial resources. And then we have the data processing dimension track that includes data collection, methodology, and quality verification. We have data management and innovation, and data access and dissemination. This roadmap, it should not be seen as a linear path applied once to the existing workflow, but more as a feedback loop of continuous improvement. And even if not all of the elements of the assessment framework are priorities in a country, it is still beneficial to conduct an overall and systematic review, at least when assessing the national energy statistics system for the first time. Now, let us look at each of the core dimensions. So here, plan. It is important to understand which data may be needed to support the analytical and strategic work being done at national level. For example, national energy and climate action plans or decarbonization roadmaps. Also, the energy information system and the energy statistics production should be able to support the relevant policy objectives. And when developing a strategy, we also need to think of the monitoring and evaluation of strategic plans. Also, it is important to understand what national and international entities fund energy statistics and through which mechanisms. So for each element of the roadmap, we have guiding questions to help assess the system. And here you can see for the plan dimension, the underlying questions for each element. I will not list all of the questions, but my colleague Scott, when he will present to you the Excel tool, he will go into more detail a bit. Now the setup. So most countries have dedicated legislation governing statistical work, but they do not often focus on energy. And a strong legal framework is one of the most important prerequisites for establishing a sound national statistical system. And also for the national system of energy statistics in particular. And the main role of these legal frameworks it is to dedicate an entity responsible for energy data collection and give them access to primary information. Also, to ensure that these statistics are collected and compiled in the most effective way, we need to establish appropriate institutional arrangements among all the relevant governmental agencies, and this is very important. Also, resources should be sufficient to allow energy statistics designated authorities to meet quality standards to fulfill their role as providers of reliable, relevant, and accessible data. Similar for plan, here for setup, you have guiding questions to support the assessment of the elements within this dimension. Now track. This track section, it focuses on the data itself from its collection all the way to dissemination. There must be an objective assessment of data collection needs and priorities so that priorities are addressed first. Also, we need to assess if the current data management framework is adequate. Is there room for further digitization in data collection, management, and dissemination? Also, how do users access energy statistics? Could data access be more user-friendly? Are formats, for example, adapted to diverse users? So similar to setup, here also we have guiding questions to support your assessment of the elements within this dimension. So accompanying the roadmap, we have a Microsoft Excel-based self-assessment tool that is available for users to easily apply the roadmap steps to their national context by answering the questions presented in the guide. The roadmap assessment tool, it mirrors the structure of the roadmap. It will help you quickly identify where your strengths and weaknesses are. And at the end of the tool, you can generate a report that can easily be shared. This is an example of the assessment summary derived from the tool where you can see the status for each element. You can see in red where there are significant weaknesses and in yellow where you need to continue to put efforts to strengthen the system. So to conclude, over the years, the IEA has been active in developing methodology for collecting and reporting energy statistics, but the important work in collecting and developing energy statistics at the national level is the responsibility of the national administrations. And to further strengthen the national capacities in producing information that are key for national energy analysis and policies, The IEA has developed this roadmap for countries to identify their weakness spots in their framework of national energy data collection, production, and dissemination. We also know that there is no single solution that fits all. So we have tried to engage with many countries with different characteristics and bring different examples so that any country that needs to use this guide can to revamp its own data system can find it useful, can get useful ideas to implement. Also, you can apply this framework partly for the full system or on a specific topic. You can focus on a specific flow or product. The IEA is keen to support countries in their development. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Zakia. And that is, I think, a lot of information in a short time. We already have good questions, but first I would like to have the demonstration from Scott on the tool, and then we take all the questions together. Thank you, Scott.
Okay, thanks, Roberta, and thanks, Zakia. So I'm just going to quickly show everybody what the assessment tool looks like in a little bit more detail. So I'll share my screen here. Okay, so this is the first page that you saw when Zakia showed in the presentation. And so the first thing typically to do is to select the language. So here I've set it to English. We could also set it to French or Spanish. But then I'll just put it back to English here. And then insert the name of the country here. I've just picked a fictitious country named Statusland that we like to use a lot. And this will show up on different pages of the tool. And also in the report that you'll generate here, which you saw a screenshot of the summary page of that in the last slide of Zakia's presentation. The other thing on this cover page that's useful to point out is there's this link in the top left corner here, where you can find a link to the main IEA webpage where you'll find the full guidebook in detail, and then also an accompanying practical guide that goes with this assessment tool that explains in more detail each of the questions and has additional guiding questions to help when you're filling out this tool. The other piece to point out here is there's some instructions here, and the important piece here is that each of the tabs in this assessment tool, they have corresponding pages in the guidebook that they're associated with. So if you ever need more context, you know where you need to go. So I'm going to go over to the Plan tab here. We can start on any tab, depending on the information we have at hand or our preference. At the top of each section, you'll see some notes that might be helpful. So again, we'll see the page numbers associated with the Plan tab here, as well as some instructions around, okay, what do we select in these blue boxes over here? So each of the questions here, in order to generate that nice summary page that we saw in Zakia's presentation, we click from the drop downs here and select, okay, in answer to this question, is it yes or no, or am I somewhere in between? And that would be something we would do as partial. Then we have these blue boxes here where I could add some additional information. Excuse me, typing. But yeah, you could add some additional information here, which we encourage you to do. So if you're ever sending this report to someone, they know the additional context of why you answered yes, no, or partial in response to each of these questions. And so each of these tabs is set up exactly how it's presented in the guidebook. So for Plan, we have data needs and users. And if we scroll down, we have the strategy development framework element, and then the final one, which is funding mechanisms. And this is the same for the setup tab and the track tab as well. And then if we go over to the country info tab, this is where you can provide some additional context into any progress you've made in improving the National Energy Information System, looking at what are key enablers that drove those improvements, success, challenges, and lessons learned. And then we also have the enablers tab that Zakia talked about, where we can rate the long-term enablers that are driving these improvements in National Energy Information Systems. And here it's just important to read each of the text in the boxes that says which level you're at so you can see where you are. Finally, in the data availability tab here, this is set up exactly like an energy balance matrix. And here we can track what energy statistics are at hand in our country when we're trying to produce a national energy balance. So if I know I had, for example, I collect national statistics on natural gas production, I can select yes here. then maybe I don't know in the industry sector, in the different ones, in the subsectors, I don't know how it's disaggregated into iron and steel. I don't know in chemical and petrochemical, or maybe I don't even have these industries in my country, in which case I would select not applicable. And so once you fill all this out, you also get a nice table down here where we can see what indicators can we develop based on the responses and the information that we collect and is available to us, whether that's sustainable development goals or on the emission side, nationally determined contributions. And so when you're done with filling out all the tool and you've selected yes, no, and filled out the matrix here, you can go at the beginning, click generate report, and you're going to get something that looks like what Zakia showed, as well as a screenshot of all the information that you filled throughout the report. And as always, like if you have any questions, even we have it here, there's an email that you can reach us at specifically for national capacities and the work on this guidebook.